At the moment, we have Bassett starting in shooter with their old teammates, Kelsey Brown and Steph Wood. Paige Hadley in the middle, who's having a great year and a great tournament. One of the best players in Australia at the moment. Then we've got Jo Weston, and as I said earlier, Sarah Clow is in there as well with Courtney Bruce.
The threat for Barbados comes in the shape of Warson. She's been brilliant under the post, but Azor, Bruce, Seal and Blackman, there's experience at the back for Barbados.
We know that they want to come out strong, because if you're going to shock a team at any point in time, it is going to be at the very start when they might not be expecting it. So, and just to see what they can bring at the start of the match, because, you know, a few of these teams do tire a little more quickly than what our countries do in Australia and New Zealand. But we just want to see the competition go. And it was a great fight there from Jo Weston.
Nutmegs, Twister, Australia come out with the ball though. Oh, and given away, and Barbados
have got one back. And all of these games at the start of a World Cup, it doesn't matter at what stage it is, there's so many nerves. And you just don't know what to expect from your opposition.
There's a P-roller through, wasn't it? I mean, that pass didn't come off.
It didn't, but you can just see the experience from Courtney Bruce there, wanting to get the ball moving quickly. She doesn't want to take her time. She doesn't want to let the defender set up, and they've just cruised the ball down to Steph Wood under the circle to get the first for Australia.
You love a shorter goal attack, the Australians, and Steph Wood has just been fantastic within that circle and time again stands up.
I love a shorter goal attack, mainly because just what they bring to the game. I think we have so many tools in the game now, and they just give that variety. And also, I just think it's so impressive. You know, I was a huge Sharelle McMahon fan back in the day, and to see them have the confidence to take a shot from anywhere in the circle, that's what really gets a goal defence thinking. If she could sink one from here. Whoop, not too much. I spoke too early there.
If only they had a tall goal shooter, though, who could gobble them up.
Yeah. Well, that's why Caitlin Bassett is there under the ring to gobble up those rebounds for her.
Caitlin Bassett standing at 6'3", 1.93.
She's not short. This is great defence here from the Aussies. Well done, Jo Weston. It is so tough. Oh! And well done there as well.
Wood loves a bullet ball, doesn't she? And
yes, she does. But Blackman slipping through her hands. And those are the ones they're going to be able to pick off. Oh, gosh, Barbados are having a fair crack.
Blackman, 147 caps, 36 years young. She's got the experience at both ends of the court for Barbados.
Isn't that phenomenal to still be running around?
Well, I couldn't catch her.
No. Should we have a race after the game?
Like I said, competitive. You?
Yeah, no, definitely not either.
There's Blackman again. They're all right at working the ball around court. They won't mind this, Barbados.
They are. You notice the sentence, she didn't pick it up then because it was bouncing twice. If she had have picked it up, it would have been played ball.
Defense, penalty pass.
Oh, the little dribble in. Defender killer, that one.
That time a legal dribble.
That is the legal dribble. And then good shooting there from Warden.
Centre pass with Holder in hand then. This defensive effort from Australia is just making Barbados swing it around.
They are. We are playing, so obviously traditional netball here in Australia is our one-on-one style, and that's what they've started here today. It is the strength that we play back in our country, and they've started that today, and it is so hard to get off the body for this Barbados team. But a great shot there from Thomas. They just don't look phased though, do they? Like, they work so hard to get the ball in, but then they just sink it, calm, cool, collected, brushed off the shoulder, see you later.
For Barbados, it's enjoying the world stage. I always see that with their games when they come out. Just tend to tire towards the back end of it. Had a win over Singapore first off, and that helped them through to this second stage of the competition. Oh, loose one.
Oh.
Who wants it?
Great chase up from Steph Wood. Oh, beautiful ball there.
Thought there might be a proper whack out, but they're okay.
That was a great play from Barbados, opening up the court, moving over the other side. Oh, just a little bit late there from Bruce, and straight into Warden. That was a great play from Barbados.
All about Brown, though, wasn't it? The space she created herself, and then the lovely feed in.
Into the pocket to get away from her defender.
When defense contact, holding the player, centre third. Centre third.
Umpires got their eyes on the prize, making sure they're watching every position this afternoon. Big ball into Bassett as she sinks another one through.
Just asking for a friend.
Yes.
How do you combat the threat of Bassett?
Who's this friend of yours?
Yes, don't know. Someone they might come up against later on.
Well, this is how you do it. Blah, 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 blah.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. Blah, blah. I don't know, if you listen in closely to what I say today, some words might slip out. But
hopefully
it's
legal
like any
ones.
good toll. It's just, you know, breaking down the players, breaking down the attack end. I'm not going to give you too much information, though.
Good job. There are some of the world's best defenders ready to take on Australia later in the tournament. And we're hearing that threat of New Zealand. They'll come up against each other the final game in this group stage.
Great space there from Brown. Oh, what an intercept from Azor Bruce. That was impressive.
Never before has her name been said with such relish.
You're welcome. I get so excited by every intercept. I know how hard they are to get. And so when you get one, you need everyone to get up and about.
And then the sucker punch when you can't hang on. But now they come again. Blackman was offering.
Oh, a bit over the top. Can they hold on?
But Walton coming out for that one.
Contact on the ball. Penalty, yes.
Oh, great rebound there from Bruce. Unfortunate miss there from Thomas.
Now Weston comes away with it. And the speed and the force behind those balls.
And that's what Kelsey Brown brings to this Australian team, is her speed on the centre pass, around the circle.
Contact
So hard to stop. I know any defender, when they come up against a running wing attack, it's similar to Crampton in the previous game. They just hit that circle edge so hard. It's almost impossible to stop.
And Alexander picking players in form coming into this tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. Which is so important. I know experience does come into it when you come into a World Cup, especially when you get into those final games. But if people are playing well, they deserve the opportunity to be at a World Cup. So I'm really glad that they have the opportunity.
Yes.
So to give you one tip, right? So if you're going to go up for a rebound, you do need to be standing in front of block it out. You can't let them creep in.
Quick and wing attack. Free pass. Yes.
I love how, to give me that tip, you actually just barged me out the way,
Yeah.
which I thought was the tip.
Well, that was a part of it. That was the quiet part of it. And there's no umpires on this side of the court.
Also try and
contact.
keep Bassett away from that post. Easier said than done.
Absolutely it is.
Get off the arms of the
It's
players.
just... If she's not moving herself, you can't force her. That's the game of netball. So it's about how do you keep the ball away from her, rather than kicking her away from the post.
On the arms is
Thomas with a little bounce. Let his head down and run into the circle.
Great tip there from Bruce.
inside. Yes.
It's that constant jive from Bruce and Clow, isn't it? We just don't know where they're going with the twinkle toes.
Yeah, and that's what a good defensive end does. It's that constant moving, as I said previously as well, that if you're on the body, unlucky miss there from Bassett, throwing for Barbados. Look at this, over the top, so tough to get, but it's when you're off the body, they don't know where to put the ball, and that's what allows them to come through for that intercept. It's about being elusive. It's about staying off the body, keeping your quick feet moving.
Just off the back, and snatches it. She'll put this one away. 10-4.
And Barbados just need to keep it ticking over. Keep getting
So
the
much
ball in
pressure
there.
being put on their centre pass, though.
So much
And then you
pressure.
cook it.
Full time.
Well, the mentality is right. If you can get the ball at the centre pass, then as a defender, there's no more work to do. So the goalkeeper's always saying, get the ball on the first centre pass.
Feet up.
So you get a bit of a break. Yeah.
So much work put in by Wood.
Caitlin Bassett.
But that again was Wood drawing everyone in, creating that space.
And that's the power of that shorter goal attack. Creating the space, coming in. Great tip there from the Bruce. And getting the reward and throwing it in.
Contact wing attack outside circle.
Just on the body from Brown.
I was about to say not the tallest, Jeanette Azor-Bruce, at 6 foot, but clearly that is quite tall. But when you see the
height difference.
The height inside that circle.
Absolutely, and I'm 6'1" myself, and Caitlin made me look short. And great finding space there for Wood. The variety they bring is the hard thing to match. Is it the high ball? Is it the low ball? Are you going to swing it? Where's the ball going? The more things you can make a defender think about, the better your chances of getting that ball through.
How much was this drilled into you as a diamond? All these different combinations, so that regardless of who was on court, that kind of intuitive knowing who's there, where they're going to be, changing up the pace and the passing as well, just so that you just knew. So it's not maybe the heart and the pride that sometimes maybe was Australia's undoing in the Commonwealth Games final, because that's what England brought when they disrupted them.
Yes,
but
absolutely.
Just the drilling.
It is the drilling of the play, but at the end of the day, like you just said, you can drill as much as you want, but it is the heart and the passion that can get that last intercept, that can really lift a side, that can get the energy, and that's why it is the advantage for England being here on home turf for that World Cup. But in saying that, you do need to have that set game plan so that whenever someone, well done, Cloud, getting the tip up there. So when anyone comes on, that they know the role that they have to play and they need to be able to stick to it. And so as much as anyone might say this is going to be the starting 7, at the end of the day, only they know what the game plan is for this current tournament, and whoever's playing that best is who will be in that starting 7.
Great backing up as well, and that's what Australia do so well.
You've got to be the first to the ball after someone gets a tip. You've got to reward your mates.
Contact goalkeeper on the leg.
She's not having it all her own way. Azor-Bruce is certainly disrupting a few things in that circle.
She absolutely is.
Footwork dragging on attack.
It's just a few little errors here from Barbados, but they're making it hard for them. They're making them work. They're making them move around the circle. Steph Wood having to come front there, up and around.
It's an obstacle chase.
It is. Well, it's the game of netball, really, the old obstacle chase. But the key is Barbados and they've got one over as well.
Yes.
Coming back the other end.
Might take a snapshot of that.
I know.
A rare occurrence.
Throw in.
So we just need Barbados coming to the ball. You don't want it. You got enough pressure on you if you're playing against Australia. So you want to run to the ball, make it easy for your mates. As the ball comes down here, we want the defenders to keep their feet moving. They're getting themselves in some really good positioning. They're working well together, but as they come around in front, oh, so close. That was a tricky pass.
That was eye of the needle, though, wasn't it?
Eye of the needle.
The bounce, knowing the direction and judging all of that in the 3 seconds, less than that. That was about a second and a half.
Yeah. So now they're working it around a bit better, which is great. Back to the other side. It doesn't matter how long it takes you to get it down there. If you can maintain possession, that is a win for Barbados.
Clock becomes your friend, the tired legs of the others become your friend too, but then it's just about whether those errors creep in. Frustration.
And that's the fine line.
But all about the pressure that Australia were putting on. Wood coming out to hunt for it again. Brown doing so well around that circle edge. And there's Bassett.
Over the top pass to Bassett. So hard to stop.
Just that little bounce in that we saw before, the only place she could put it, the tightest of margins, and the Diamonds doing it.
And they make it look so easy, but it's just the amount of hard work they put in to be able to get those passes right. It doesn't just happen. And they're almost ones as a defender. You just have to applaud them. You're like, yeah, well done. You got that one. But
how impressed have you been with her?
Wow. style. I've been so impressed, not just at this tournament, this year in general. She's had a killer season in Australia, but talking about this tournament in particular, her ability to have confidence in herself. As a day, watch her go up and away. To have confidence in yourself, to have a crack at the ball. It is so impressive as a debutante to come out here, first World Cup. Well done, Cloud.
Time.
To add to everything, Barbados can't even blink. The minute they blink, it's gone and it's up the other end.
Well, and that's the thing, you want to get that ball down quickly. You don't want to allow your teams a time to set up, and that's how they will be playing later on in the week. In the game tomorrow against Malawi, later on against New Zealand. You don't have time to take a second. Maddie was a great shot there.
I need to stop
Morton,
dancing by the
fifth.
side. I've taken out 2 pivoteers already.
Dance away.
Last few seconds of this first quarter then. And it was Barbados who came out dancing, but they faced the might of Australia. 22-5 then, the lead at quarter time. And the Aussies now with an extra goal. That counts at the end. 23-5 came out to prove a point against Barbados, and they have stood up, put the foot down, short bursts, and they have that convincing lead. 23-5. The 5th time then at a World Cup that Australia and Barbados have met, and it's going with form at the moment. Australia 23, Barbados 5. Just having a quick check around court. We're waiting to see if Thwaites comes on. It will be her 50th cap. Still waiting for that moment. Shani Layton alongside me. Looking at this Australia side and what's coming up over the next 2 matches, they've got New Zealand, the final one in this group. Lisa Alexander said she was building combinations, looking at taking it on to that moment, but it's also about managing physicality-wise your team over this next period.
It is, and that's the key for, I guess, all teams at this current point in time, but you need to balance the people that you have out on court whilst building these combinations. And as you can see, something different at the moment with Clow out in goal defence, which we haven't seen much of to this point in time. So it is very important that you're still playing good netball by the time that you're coming in against, well, and Malawi, that's going to be a really tough game for them tomorrow as well. So, and then to follow that with New Zealand, it's a tough week ahead. So they need to be nailing their passes, nailing their drives, getting the timing right, which they've done so far. But it is easy to drop off in a game like this. So it'll be interesting to see. And Wharton slotting that one in at the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, she's been clinical through this tournament. Has Wharton for Barbados. Now about what they can turn around defensively.
Finding some space, not wanting to run on top of one another. And then into Wood, who puts it through. And it is, and there's nothing like a World Cup to play this amount of games in a short amount of time. It's heavy on your body, it's heavy on your mind. You've got fans here yelling at you. You've got family who want to catch up with you, and you know, you've got to look after yourself in your recovery. And a held ball there. Once again, just the Australian pressure. They're just not giving them an inch.
Just off camera, the photographer in the far court had a Aussie bullet ball straight down the lens.
I don't know if you can see through the lens anymore.
There's Clout, 6'2", 190. She's got the height there in that goal defence position.
Finance contact wing.
So the Aussies just need to keep finding their space here in attack. They've had a few run on top of each other a couple of times in a row. So these are being obviously very picky, but the minute things that you want to work on, you want to be in a different space. You don't want to be running on top of each other, providing different options for each other.
Oh, lovely ball from Wood.
And once again, how do you beat that? You keep moving, and almost if I was Barbados, so just bring some voice as well. You'd be surprised how much a bit of voice and a bit of biff can put your opponent off. Not that I ever did that myself.
No, never heard you on court.
No.
Right then, Barbados, what have they got?
What have you got for us?
Do you want to hold her back?
Up the middle. Yes, Joe! Weston. That is a great intercept. He's so clean. Watch the footwork as they come through for that intercept.
Throw in.
An unlikely miss from Bassett there. Barbados with another chance to come down the other end. But watch Australia's footwork as they're coming for these intercepts. They don't stop on the ball. They're not running into the body. They run through with 2 hands and they run their feet through it like they're the attacker.
The wall of clout there as well. And Blackman is just trying. She is the engine in this team and she's the one that will try and talk her team through it.
They are. They're working hard, Barbados. They're going for...
Replay.
Oh, it's so unlucky. Gosh, the umpires are tough, aren't they? And then straight down again for Australia. Barbados is needing to attack a bit more in that. Oh, unlucky again. One each way.
Bassett wasn't happy with that call.
No, she wasn't at all. You can read it on her face, can't you? She doesn't hide too much.
Yeah, no poker player.
Bassett? No. That's what we want to see.
Yes.
Brings the excitement. Clow on the sideline. It's so important that you have your defenders up on the transverse line, ready to help out. And there Bassett gets her goal.
Far be it from me to criticise, who am I to criticise, but it is those sort of opportunities that if maybe you've got some real world-class defenders in there with Bassett, that maybe they'd be putting a bit more pressure on that. But it's hard to put pressure on even a shot like that from Wood. The angle at which she takes it to makes it look easy.
Just so confident at the moment, letting the ball sink from anywhere. Aussie setting up their defence. Clow doing a great job out there in goal defence, putting the pressure on the body.
Where did that hand come from?
I know, out of nowhere. But that's the thing as well. Clow might not have got it herself, but as a defender, if you're putting pressure on your attacker, it's the next pass that you get, the next pass that you get, and just building that pressure. She's doing such a great job of that. Courtney's come up to join them on the transverse line.
Striking wing attack.
Guys, hang out with me.
29-6 then Australia lead Barbados. 10 minutes of this half to go. They are trying. Every element being stretched by Barbados.
And Australia just working it around the circle. And still giving each other tips and encouragement. That's what you want to see.
What was Wood asking for then?
I don't know, I saw 2 lines up the side. I think that means both drive down either side on the next centre pass, but I totally just made that up. And well done from Bruce. Flying through for that intercept as well. Really setting it up.
Oh,
wow.
There's the lifter too.
I know.
Suddenly every pass gets faster, fiercer.
What an absolute bullet. You would not want to get in the way of that either, would you? Definitely not the photographer anyway.
And here just seeing from one end to the other just how that can swing the momentum for the team. Diamonds come again.
Bassett out of the circle, mixing it up a bit.
Need to change something up, Barbados.
Striking down attack.
Just having a look to their bench and maybe some options that they can bring on. They're all quiet on the bench at the moment too.
They are. They need to encourage each other. These are tough enough games as it is. I think, you know, in the last match, Zimbabwe did such a great thing of just keeping their voice up and keeping each other in it. And that's what they need. Even if you're just swapping it over, calling a timeout, getting some fresh legs on just to help each other out a little bit.
Yes.
And this is where you need to reset and think, right, we've got a call.
Yes.
There's one opportunity. What do we do with it?
And this is when it's so important to have your own targets for this game as well. So, you know, although if you can't keep up with the Australian team, you want to be able to reach your targets against a Courtney Bruce, who is just having an absolute ripper of a tournament. She's flying everywhere. We had a quick look at her earlier before in between games, and she's in fine form and improved so much since last year. She really has. We saw Courtney last year just kind of cementing her spot in the Australian team. She'd been in there before, but finding her feet, finding the ball, it's almost like she's a magnet. She just gets drawn to it. So being able to step up in the big moments, and I feel like she's really matured as a player.
Taking their own players out with the fierceness of the pass in. It's Hadley feeling her lip from that pass. So 90 and 89% then.
Which is great shooting percentage from the Australians.
Here's another one off for Wood.
She'll
have another go.
Just over the top.
Yes.
Doesn't count if it's penalty. And good shot there from Wood.
Speaking of penalties, that's the other area that Barbados need to cut down. Easier said than done, of course.
It is easier said than done, and it's tough when you're going for the ball and you need to pull out if you're not used to playing at this speed of game. And it's just how they see the ball, and the ball moves that much quicker when, you know, these girls, they're in the gym 4 times a week. They're powering that ball through and they're seeing it, but they're just not getting there in time. They just need to play it around, play their game, be calm, throw it over the top. Beautiful, beautiful, stay calm, have a shot, why not? Long bomb goal!
That deserved a goal.
It did deserve a goal. Warren's been getting those in the last couple of days, so I just wonder whether the tournament's starting to take its toll for this Barbados team then.
Certainly not on Brown, is it?
No, definitely not. She just goes and goes and goes. The biggest little Energizer bunny I think I've ever seen in my life. Be able to check out that footwork, that change of direction. Ball placement over the top to Hadley on the circle. Up and over to Bassett. Good contest though. And that's all we want to see. We just want to see them continue to contest.
We're just seeing Azure Bruce at the back, just holding her face. I wonder if she's going to call time.
She looks like she might.
Looks a bit winded.
She does.
Meanwhile, Blackman trying to drive her team forward again.
Oh, but in saying that, great defence from Wood there. Getting the turnover, getting the ball down. And let's see if Azure Bruce calls a time.
Doesn't look happy, but...
No, she seems okay though. Maybe just copped an elbow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Contact lens realignment, maybe.
Yes. Any of the above are high possibilities.
Clearer on the left or clearer on the right?
Yeah.
Step in from Bassett again. Are you a fan of the high fives?
I love a high five.
And
what
the
are you
bottom
talking
taps?
about? I was huge on the butt taps.
After everything.
After everything. Do you know what other sport I love while we're speaking of sport? Is volleyball, because they celebrate every single point. And I know, wow, well done, Bruce. We celebrate every single goal, and you know, it is an effort to get the ball down there every single time. And otherwise, if you don't enjoy it, if you don't get the high fives, if you don't get around your teammates, then why are you out there at the end of the day? You know, you've got to celebrate. And you can see Courtney Bruce down here pointing to her attackers, having a good chat, just letting them know. Quick hands from Kelsey Bruce. Oh, but a great intercept and a great read there.
Oh, Blackman again
so
trying to get her team ticking.
She was.
Oh, and Searle responds off it.
Great intercept there. This has been some great defence from Barbados. They just need to be calm now and really make the most of it. You can't get lazy with the high balls.
Contact goalkeeper.
So this is the moment that they've had a couple of times already in this match, where if they can capitalise on it, just lifts the team again.
Oh, it's unfortunate. They just can't capitalise in those moments. Those are the times that you just have to reward your team, because as a defender, if you get that intercept and your shooter slots it in, it lifts you to get another one and to go to that next level. But it can be quite disheartening, as all of us defenders know out there. I know you're listening. That, you know, you do the work, and if it gets missed, no pressure shooters, but get it in. There we go.
She always listens to you.
Yeah.
Minus break with a top.
That's great. Great tip again from Wood.
I mean, come on, that's the goal attack.
I know,
with the
getting a tip, getting an intercept. And that's what we want to see. If every single team member on the court is defending, it just makes your life as a keeper, goal defence, wing defence so much easier, but so inspiring and such a great work ethic.
That deserved a bum tap.
That did. Do you want me to go out there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm running out. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back.
I don't know that anyone could stop you. Right then, Barbados. Night with
I want to be allowed in. And that's the thing. It's just that pressure. Pressure is a funny thing.
But it's the great defensive pressure that Australia are putting on them through court, though.
Absolutely.
Better. Azure Bruce has recovered.
Yeah, and with the person with the ball, it takes a real talent to be calm, to not panic, to see the space amongst the mess. And at the moment, Australia are doing a really great job of chucking a bit of itness up there. And a great tip again, but great pulled in from Walton over the top to sink another goal, which is great from them. And it really is for them to work the ball down and get it in. every time. They don't deserve a bum tap. They deserve a high 10 to get it in over Courtney Bruce. A high 10.
Well, here goes Azure Bruce again, and now they're getting a bit of joy off the rebounds. Just that one.
Just that one.
And Wood will go with the pass again. The little bounce out to Brown. Didn't touch it almost. Just let the air carry that back to Wood, and there's all she feels through the net. Little look up at the score. And with a minute 50 left on this, it's 45-7.
Oh, well done. Oh,
Instruction, shooter, penalty pass.
such great defensive effort, and they're not letting up this Australian side.
Center, contact,
Good
penalty
effort
pass.
there from Hadley.
Yes.
He's another new strong voice. Not new, she was there with us in the 2015 World Cup, but Bruce flying through. It is so impressive. You know, obviously a bit of a goalkeeper fan myself, but, you know, just to see her stepping up just makes my day. It's just amazing.
While you get emotional on the sidelines, Australia come again, and it's just a constant wave at the moment that Barbados can't live with. Another bounce in to Wood.
Replay, free pass.
This time, though, the replay.
Man is offside on attack.
Bruce and Sil just having a little look over.
They can see the ball, having a crack, trying to push them wide, doing a great job of it. Out of play for Clow. It gives them the opportunity. They've got to make the most of only having one defender in the circle, but Bruce still gets there anyway.
Now, she came from the other court, from court 2 to fly across
She actually
to get that
did.
one.
I saw her. She went over, said hello to Sri Lanka and Samoa over there, and then she flew over and still got to that intercept.
Incredible speed.
Oh, really great speed.
Knight lays an egg.
Possession, goal attack.
Great tip. Even just the ability to get from one side of the body around to the other there.
No goal given.
Held ball. That's the pressure again.
Just bites her bottom lip, does Wharton, and frustrated at that.
Yes.
But already Australia back down and punishing. It was a quarter then that saw Australia put on exactly the same as they did in the first quarter, but defensively, if it was even possible to get better, they did. Barbados put 5 past in that first quarter, just the 2 past in that second. A dominant Diamonds, 46-7 at the break. High drama in this one. Not in the score, 46 plays 7, but Shani Layton alongside me, a drink's just gone everywhere in the excitement. There are sparks off court, mainly from the TV screens. On court, it's been a bit quieter perhaps for Barbados.
It has been a bit quieter for Barbados. I think, look, they're out there and they're giving their all. It's just really hard at this stage of the competition when Australia's playing their best netball, and yeah, it's tough to get out there. But hopefully they can find a bit of spark in this second half and just bring a bit of energy, you know, have a fair crack. But it is hard when we've got fresh legs out on the court. We've got Jamie Lee Price out in centre and April Brandley on here in goal defence. But more importantly,
A goal shooter,
we have Caitlin Thwaites.
her 50th cap.
Her 50th cap today. Happy 50th
there you
cap.
go.
And her first touch for her 50th cap today. But what an amazing achievement for Caitlin Thwaites. You know, she's had such a journey. She was in a National League side before myself back in 2003. That is how long this girl has been around for. You know, making the Australian team. I think it might have even been 2008, 2009, one of her first. And, you know, really had to work so hard to be a prominent figure in this side. So to see her out there today, making her 50th cap debut, and, you know, definitely claim to fame, but a really good friend of mine, and just so stoked to see her out there. I'm so proud of everything that she's achieved.
Just shows that the strength and the quality. She has a little look up at herself on the big screen as well.
Yeah. You've got to make sure that you do, right? You've got to be looking the goods.
Oh,
and a bit over the top.
A couple of touches
on that.
already on the ball. One she'll be happy with. The second, just too much. And here come Barbados again. Just the 2 goals scored for them in that second quarter. One up in this third already. There's one small victory, but as
April
if by
Brandley
magic.
stops them from taking that next one. A great ball from Jo Weston, and they're just so great at actually seeing the space today.
Now we've got a player down on the court at the moment. It's a heavy old tumble that was taken. It just shows you what they're putting into this action. And they'll keep stretching for the ball, Barbados, and that was just trying to stop that passage of play for Australia.
It is, and we're seeing that, you know, a little bit at this tournament. Those that, you know, perhaps aren't used to playing at this physicality and balls that the Australian girls are going for, that are used to having like stronger, I guess, oppositions against them that aren't going to get taken out. So
Blackman is a tough cookie.
She's a very tough cookie.
She takes quite a lot of hits for this side, and she's up, and good to see her running off court as well, but she'll just have a
bit of a rest.
Yeah, sit down on the bench with that Barbados team. She's holding her head, but we'll keep an eye on her, one of the real standout players for this Barbados side. And there is an historic moment, one for the photo book for Caitlin Threats.
We'll make sure we capture that one for her, shall we? Over the top of Brownlee. Water's been picked up for a few of those now, a few of the offensive contacts. Something she just needs to clean up a little bit.
Watson and Price combining with Thwaites again.
Score it
She's
in
so
there.
deadly.
She's so deadly, and she's just such a strong target for the side. She's got so much in her toolkit to be able to be that moving shooter with probably one of the hardest holds. Oh, with the ball just getting taken off her there, but you know, she's got such that strong body that she holds against any defender when that ball comes over the top. It is so hard to get against. But still so agile as well in moving around the circle, and she's so great at being able to create and open up that space for a goal attack, which is now Gretel Tippett.
Better energy though from this Barbados side.
It is,
Thomas
isn't
with
it?
Contact, ball attack, penalty.
Do you think they must have had a bit of a pep talk in at half-time?
Maybe they had some of that energy drink that we spilt everywhere.
Yes.
See how I brought you into this?
You have.
When
There
it was
is
all
a little
me.
bit. It was all you. I did not spill your energy drink anywhere. Although I am quite messy, so I don't need any more energy. If I have any more energy, this place will explode.
Wharton makes it 2 goals all in this third quarter. Small victories.
It is
Now
small
they'll build on
victories.
it.
They could, if they can get this. No! Well done, Brownlee. Stop them from getting worn up on Australia in this quarter. Watson.
Offside, wing defense.
In at wing attack. And Thwaites.
Ridiculous
absolute
strength off the bench for this Australia side.
It is. There's just so much versatility and variety coming in here, and
Contact, wing
depending on who
defense.
they bring on the court really changes their game. And having Tippett in there as well, you've got 2 goal shooters, which is great. She's got so much running experience from her past in basketball, but then also, you know, if Thwaites is coming out of the circle, then she can stand in there as that holding goal shooter as well. And it's so great to be able to have that versatility, and she's definitely one of the most athletic players out here at the moment. Gretel Tippett.
Contact, wing defense.
And in she pulls it. She's so strong. You put that ball up out in front, there's not many people that could get a ball off her.
Particularly when Azure Bruce is giving her a cuddle at the same time.
I know. They're so friendly in here, aren't they?
Just like you were.
Oh, I was so friendly. The closer, the better.
All that body on body, all that man on man in the circle counts for nothing. Just Australia cutting through it at the moment.
Great work there from Watson. A wing attack, getting an intercept again there. I love the hard work the attackers are doing in this game. They're not giving anything. They take everything seriously. They're not taking their foot off the pedal, and we wouldn't expect anything less from them. Otherwise, you know what? They'll probably be getting a rev up from me over here.
Juggernaut now for the Australia Diamonds. There was a hip in there, a body move too, and still Tippett comes out with it.
Thwaites and Tippett together just provide such a great option. They can cover so much of the circle, whether it's under the post, out wide.
Obstruction, wing attack. Obstruction, goal defense.
It's so hard for a defence end to be able to cover both, and they're both so strong with their leads. When they really take off, they just drag
goal
their defenders
defence.
with them.
Yes.
Naughty now to play there for Brownlee. Oh, it's so close there for Bruce.
Go on, Wharton. There she goes.
That's one of their best. And Wharton is back sinking the long bombs. Oh, and right there from Western. I'm loving this physicality. Barbados have brought it. in this second half.
Holder was on the backside then.
Yeah, I think she's in a little bit of pain.
Yeah, she gave the I'm a little bit iffy sign across, but she's still on her feet.
And that was a stepping from Tippett there. But she gets the ball back for her teammates. You love a player that, you know, when you do throw it away, you're just empowered to get the ball back. Oh, but then it's gone again.
Tag team.
Oh, dear. You see Caitlin Thwaites there putting her hands down. Calm down, everybody. Cool your jets.
Easy to get sucked into it, though.
Oh, it is, because it's exciting, right?
But that's what Barbados need.
That is the calming influence that a Caitlin Thwaites has on a team.
Beautiful.
Oh, amazing shot.
Barnes obstruction wing attack.
Good effort there. Tippett, but great playing it around with Barbados. You can see her putting her hands up. Where are we putting the ball? Great work from Bruce. Over the top, reading the play.
Offside, wing defense.
I mean, I know Wharton is good, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
that sandwich then,
Yes.
almost impossible to get through.
Yes. A diamond sandwich is hard to cut through. That's why they're diamonds. Do you like that one?
Could be in a Christmas book somewhere.
Yeah. I'm writing cards.
Does Bassett often clap like the Queen? And that was very reserved.
Oh.
Clap on the side.
I don't know if you heard, but Caitlin Bassett is the Queen.
All right.
That's why she's the captain of the Diamonds. They are all kind of looking at the bench now. Well, that was a bit more involved. Clou's also got her Queen clap on. But
Contact, wing attack,
You're getting
penalty pass.
solid
With the
effort
wing
there
attack.
from Watson.
Yes.
Halfway through this third quarter, Barbados have bettered their score from the last quarter, have come out firing in this second half.
Goalkeeper, you're holding. Yes, you're holding. Penalty, yes.
Wharton sets herself.
We want her to sink it. Oh, spoke too soon.
Contact, shooter, penalty pass. Yes.
But I'm glad she had a crack at that rebound. She
Barnes
went in there
obstruction
for it.
attack.
Quick play there from Watson, the double play. Her bread and butter, everyone knows her for it. Straight into Thwaites, in and under, straight through the hoop. She's just so reliable under the ring, Thwaites. You give her the ball in hand, you know that she's just going to sink it for you.
Vantage contact, goal attack.
Currently sitting at 7 from 7 on 100%. Gretel Tippett, 5 from 5 on 100%.
Vantage offside centre.
Can't really beat that.
The voice of Aussie Diamond, Shani Layton.
And again,
Thwaites enjoying her 50th at the moment.
Goal attack, breaking, free pass.
just on that, I think, you know, I had 47 caps, and it is actually so hard to rack up caps on the international stage, especially when you play for a country like Australia with so many awesome players, you know, and the fact that, you know, you don't get recognised when you're on the bench, even though you're really still contributing to the team. So do not underestimate how much it takes to be able to rack up 50 caps for an international test. It's just absolutely phenomenal.
Particularly when Lisa Alexander doesn't strike me as the sentimental type, so she's not just going to give caps out.
No, she definitely does not just give caps out, that's for sure. Although it has been more of a rotating team since she's come on board in saying that. I think Norma Plummer was definitely
Contact, wing defense, penalty pass, goal turn.
a non-rotating,
Goal turn.
but she was also
Yes.
a great coach.
Norma Plummer coaching this South Africa side here at the World Cup.
Into the win for
Advantage.
South Africa over Jamaica yesterday. Shock upset from there. But for now,
Wing defense,
the
obstruction.
Aussies.
Jamaica and South Africa definitely in the tougher side of the draw, being kept apart from Australia and New Zealand. A reminder, we've gone into these two groups of 6 now after the first stage. Australia and New Zealand very much battling out for the top of their group, but England and Jamaica and South Africa in the other side of the draw.
Elbow.
And Australia will really be wanting to solidify their combinations. You've seen Clow starting on goal defence, Brandley coming in. Who is going to be that solid defence end for them? You know, they've got Malawi tomorrow, and that is going to be an extremely tough game. Malawi are a really frustrating side to play. They play the possession netball. You know, that's going to be very energetically consuming. And we saw Australia get a little bit frustrated against Zimbabwe. So
It's not a style they match up against well, is it?
no, it's not at all. So that will be a really, really interesting matchup leading into their game against New Zealand later on in the week. But it is important that they're playing their strong game here, that they're keeping their combinations going.
I mean, come on.
Oh,
Stall defense. Your contact is becoming persistent, so please just start it up for me, please.
check that out.
Just a little talking to.
Yes, a little talking to.
Center
How
contact,
good was
penalty
that
pass.
from Griddle Tippett?
Who needs a backboard?
Who needs a backboard when you can play netball?
Just under 4 minutes of this third quarter to go then.
Another shot from Wharton there.
18 for the Australia lead in this quarter.
Watson straight over the top to
Contact
Tippett.
outside, center. Hold time, please. That's a caution. Persistent and intentional obstruction.
Getting a word to her again. You
The
can tell-
talking had happened.
Yeah. Oh, unlucky pass. That's how tall Gretel Tippett is. You go to put a pass to her and it touches the ring.
She was tickling the top.
Yeah, she sure was.
How does
Another
Lisa
turn over here.
Alexander feel about that? You know, a bit of flair.
Oh, you need the flair. It's exciting. I think sometimes you probably prefer it if you stuck to the game plan, but I say flair all the way. But I don't think you could have a game without flair if you have Gretel Tippett on the court, to be honest with you.
Well, here's a bit of good news. We saw the heavy fall from Blackman and she's back on court. Such a key player for this Barbados team.
Key player, keeping them alive,
Advantage of
being a
Sox and
solid
wing
attacking
attack.
option.
Oh, good movement. Now what can they do?
Sox and wing defense, advantage on the offside.
You can
Yes.
see Water just
Yes.
trying to get that front position on Bruce because she knows that Bruce is so good over the top. In saying that, she just proved me wrong and did it. But you told that she was fighting for that front spot.
They enjoyed that in Liverpool. It's fair to say there's plenty of Aussies in the crowd.
Oh, greatly read there from Azir Bruce. But straight into Thwaites. She sinks another one.
Ticking Australia at the moment.
Ticking it over and just maybe trying to... Oh, that was a great read from Branley there. Getting the tip, but more impressive, Weston seeing the bounce, running in, backing up her teammate, flying the ball down court to Thwaites, helping her sink another. And isn't she on fire? She's 11 from 11 for all of those people who love the number 11.
Win goal attack. Wait for the whistle.
Caitlin Thwaites is still at 100%. Over the top to Tippett. Through the ring. I didn't even see that touch the net.
I want to
Straight
count
through.
from the next centre pass for Australia because he's going so quickly
So cool.
that are almost beating a 3-second hold. Oh, and another chance to go through. This defensive work all across court from Australia.
It just shows, like yesterday, scoring 99 goals. You don't score 99 goals without hard work and fast pace.
Still the best quarter, though, for Barbados.
Bodies offside, center.
There were those changes made for Australia coming into it. Look at the splits.
Great work there from Gretel Tippett. Also can take up a whole circle from the splits.
So they've done all right from their centre passes. Hope I haven't cursed them from Barbados.
They've just been a bit
Oh,
more patient, a
just too
bit
much.
much on it. I think Bruce might have copped one to the schnoz then, but she's bounced back okay. That long ball into Price, driving down court.
Bodies
And you can
contact,
tell that
center.
Australians
Wing
are
defense.
deliberately being a bit more patient with their movement down court there. Although there were options to give it straight away, it's important to wait for that second and third option every now and again. Watson blocked off at the circle, but straight to the circle edge where she loves it most.
Bodies offside, wing defense.
Up to Tippett. And even with the contest, just rips it in.
7
Jeez.
seconds. I counted that one.
Did you really?
7 seconds.
I'll count the next one. We'll see if we can get, if it gets there any quicker. But I think Tippett is
Contact, goal
definitely
attack, penalty pass.
She's an
one of
energy
the-
in there, isn't
She's
she?
an energy and
Yes,
probably
right there.
one of the strongest goal attacks there is. Because of her size, because of her how she reads the
goalkeeper
game, her
hold and
physicality,
contact.
everything that she brings to the
Just
court.
right there.
So different to any other goal attack that there
Right
is.
there.
Well, we won't get a chance to count another centre pass for Australia, but we will count, we will look on and we'll enjoy the shots from Wharton. She has been a real strength again for this Barbados team. They've had their best quarter of this one, but Australia still stretching out that lead. 71 14, the lead overall. That one does count, so we'll add another one to that. 15 for Barbados. They won that quarter 25-8 though, Australia. The super groups with groups F and group G, seeing A and B and C and D, the top 3 sides in each combining together. From here we'll go into our semi-finals, the top 2 from each group before our final next Sunday. Australian Diamonds hoping to be in that final. 11 times winners before and trying to exert their dominance on court now. There's Thwaites with her 50th cap up, showing the experience of this side on court. Does have a bit of strapping, Shani Layton, on her left knee.
Yeah, I think just by the time you get to this level, there's always something that needs a bit of strapping. When you get to 50 international test caps, then it's very unusual if you don't have a little bit of strapping on there. But, you know, it's so tough getting through these tournaments. Obviously nursing something there, but doesn't seem to be inhibiting her movement too much at this current point in time.
Wharton, who's worn that bandage around her left leg, and the tape on there too.
She's got pretty pink though.
She's one of those players you'd like to pick up and take to maybe to Australia or here in the Super League in the UK. We'd love to see her. She's got skills around that circle, particularly in fast 5. She loves a long one. Absolutely.
To be able to get her into something like a fast 5 competition, or just by, as we've seen, bringing players over to our league in Australia, whether it's in the Super League here or even over in New Zealand.
Oh!
Bruce, but also takes out her teammate, April Brownlee, and going for that ball, and Wharton getting the ball over the top.
Bruce just checking on Brownlee. She did take a hard knock to the side of her head. She's just getting her teammate to check that there's no blood on there too. Meanwhile, down the other end of the court,
the game goes on, but
Tippett,
Brownlee seems to be in a little bit of pain there.
We'll keep an eye on her, but there's Thwaites just cutting everything off around her.
Sinking in another one. And it is amazing when you get a knock at a level like this. Aren't they? Check out the argy-bargy, the arm bars from both of them there running for that centre pass. A held ball.
In the centre third.
That's the pressure defensively again that they're putting them under. But when you're travelling at such speed through the court, I mean, your eye is on the ball and going through, and sometimes you clear your teammate out too.
Well, you know, I did that a fair few times myself, so no judgment from me. You do have the eye on the ball, but, you know, you've also got to say, if you are the one going for the ball, mine, I'm coming, help each other out a little bit. Really get that voice going.
75-17
oh,
then
and an intercept
the score.
there.
Love Rockyaw. Rockyaw again, since she's come on for Barbados, just giving them a bit more movement in that wing defence position.
They just needed a little bit more pizzazz, if that's even a word. Just giving them a bit more energy, helping them out, just being an option. A bit too far there with the pushover. The top, great there from Watson. Great tip there again.
Yes.
From Blackman. Really helping inspire her team. Lift the energy, great rebound. And the fact that she got a rebound over Gretel Tippett, she can claim that for life. I'd be claiming that for life, absolutely. A great jump, great tip.
Did you ever in training?
I don't think so.
No.
I think I tried. Funnily enough, when I played, oh, look at this. This is the hit here.
The eye on the ball.
And it was actually the elbow to the head for Brownlee there. So she's actually doing really well to still be out there. And that's what happens. You're in pain, but then you see the ball and all of a sudden you just get up and start running again because you want to be out on court. No pain is worse than not being out on court.
I don't know if she caught a glimpse of that up on the big screen because she had a big old smile. So she's back up on her toes.
And there she is. Blown through for that intercept.
Shaking it off.
Tippett up the top.
Throw in, Barbados.
Azor Bruce, though, better from her. Real competitor. But talking of
great
competitor.
Work from Price there. Getting it back for her teammates. To Thwaites, over the top to Tippett. And that's what we love seeing here from the Aussies. It is unbelievable to see these intercepts from centres, from ring attacks and goal attacks. Liz Watson just letting her slip through the hands there, though.
I mean, you say slip through the hands.
Yeah.
Could anyone have made that one stick?
Yeah, I could have. Because I don't know if you know, but I was a really great wing attack.
We're really good.
Contact shooter.
Oh, a bit more biff here from Caitlin Thwaites.
All over the court, no let up for Barbados.
We've had a
bib
Bib go
down,
flying.
bib down.
So before when Rockyor had the ball here, she threw it flying over the top. Let's see what she's going to do with it now. They need to provide her some options forward. Have a look at April Branley out the back there, pushing her player into Gretel Tippett. This is the teamwork we talk about. Still covering it out the back though.
Obstruction shooter.
Having a look over the other side. That was a great drive through. So much more patience from Barbados here.
They've got it in them, Barbados. We've seen already 17 times in this one. They're managing to restrict Australia too, but just for that time in possession.
And now she's on.
And suddenly, Liverpool loves Barbados. The noise around there. Oh, and again, just overcooks it.
Just needs a bit more touch on it. I think, as you said, if we could get Wharton out to one of these competitions, it would do her the world of good. We've seen, you know, Peace Praskovia come out absolutely smashing it. I know Mike Mwenda's not here, but the development that she's had since playing at the top level is incredible, and the more of these players that we can have coming out, she has so much potential. We just need to get the training into them.
Just 23 years old as well.
Wing defense.
Great strength there from Price. Stay on her feet.
Yes.
Quick hands from Tippett. Over the top to Thwaites, but a great contest there.
And they get the call.
And they get the call. That's what they're after. So this is where it's easy to let... Oh, greatly read from April Branley.
There was a little trip in there.
There was a little trip in there.
Let me set the penalty.
This is where Australia have to keep it clean. You know, you're coming into the last quarter, these games are really hard to stay motivated in. You've got to get the connection right. You've got to get that placement right.
Holder with a fake.
So, wing defense, attack obstruction.
Well, one of them.
Yeah.
One of them is in there,
It was
indeed.
wing attack, standing still.
Absolutely.
Something
Something we haven't chatted about much as of yet is Jo Weston, and she's actually doing a really great job in wing defence there. But it's funny as a wing defence because quite often when you're doing a great job, you don't get noticed because you're keeping your player out of it, which is why that you don't get seen.
What's she doing?
She's kept her wing attack out of it. She's staying in front of her. She's covering that pass, but being close enough that she can get the high ball if you need. But if you have a look closely, her wing attack is not getting the ball. And then, wow, over the top, through the back.
18 from 21 for Shanika Wharton.
Which is so impressive to have shot that many goals for her team today. There would be a lot of pressure on her to be able to put the ball through the ring, create this score. Great jump from Gretel Tippett.
Tippett did
Aussie's taking.
She created the net and the post then as she came through. She did the arms wrap round.
She did. Trying to protect her teammate that she nearly took out as well.
Voltage contact, wing defense. Wing attack, contact.
Having to go from the back line there. And Bruce again! How does she even get there? Over from court two. Saw the ball coming, ran through, got the intercept down to Caitlin Thwaites. And the Aussies are looking crash hot today.
Each of those passages of plays were kind of press, repeat, press, repeat, press, repeat. And that's the drill of the Aussies that we've got used to. Is Watson with it too. And Thwaites just getting involved in that bit of the action, but she drew them out, and Tippett then with the calmness of the turn and drops the net through. She gets applauded by Thwaites too. They're just enjoying the work that's being put in by the rest of the team through this court.
And such a great combination and work between the two of them to have that understanding of one another. It's honestly the best feelings to have that connection with a teammate. And what's amazing, look at Bruce's closing speed. Oh, she was so close to that one, still put her player up, but then Branley through with the next intercept, and that's what you do. She might not have got that one, but then Branley came through to get the intercept behind her. Such great teamwork. And so good to see this combination solidifying. Through to Caitlin Thwaites, slotting another one for her 50th, and still shooting at 100%.
Yeah, Lisa Alexander still doesn't look that happy on the bench.
Is Lisa Alexander ever happy? I think if they have the trophy on Sunday, then she might crack a smile, but hey, we can't guarantee.
Demanding more from the world number one.
Yeah, she is, but you need to if you want to stay at number one.
Now the defensive.
You can't be happy with just anything.
Work on from the Dylands.
They're
Just
setting it
Barbados
up.
using it. Setting the
Jo
trap
Weston.
up again. There it is.
That was her trap, the one that she's been waiting for. Finally getting it through. Katie Thwaites telling her where to put the ball. She was holding the space from behind.
Talking of holding from behind.
Yeah.
Blackman was having a little cuddle then again.
She was. They love the cuddles. But she's so great because what will happen with Caitlin Thwaites when you play her is you try and come around the front, but then all of a sudden you're cuddling her from the back again. You're like, oh, all right, hugs it is.
Hug it out.
Let's just hug it out, shall we?
Right, now it's about gathering themselves again, Barbados. Can they just put a bit more pressure on this centre pass for Australia? They're making Thwaites come out for it, but then you've got Tippett inside that circle, and the ease with which she takes that down, pops the ball through, just simple.
And that is a great play that they've got for Australia up there. Caitlin Thwaites taking the lead out, dragging her defenders with her. Tippett under the post. Watson running onto the spare ball.
I can see Blackman just annoyed with herself at letting that one through her hands.
Getting to an end of a hard-fought game for them. You're fatigued. Your mind's not as sharp as what it was at the start, and those were the balls that start to go a little bit astray. Oh, and a great tip there from Azul Bruce.
Australia.
She's done some really great work today. She's had some good work off the body, moving her feet around. She's got some good positioning. And Gretel Tippett. Check her out. She's the new long bomb queen.
Sticking her hand up, asking to be picked for the latter stages of this competition.
Absolutely she is. She's turned around and she said, hey, Wharton, I've heard that you've got the long bomb queen. I'm going to take it off you.
And here is Wharton.
And she's like, right back at you, Gretel Tippett. Oh! Could have been great.
Needed to suck that one in.
I know. Straight through. Good timing from the Aussies. Price onto the circle edge.
How do you shake that timing? How do you stop the rattle? How do you stop them putting on 99, which is what they put on in the last game, the highest score so far of this tournament?
Well, it's what Sri Lanka ended up doing yesterday. I think they want to score, so they want to get it forward quickly, but by playing it fast is actually reading into the Aussies' hands. Our competition back home is fast. That's the ball that we ended up seeing. But what is frustrating is when the ball's moving slowly. When we're off pace, we might run for the ball, but then miss it, and then the next one will come through. So if they want to stop Australia from scoring, it's about possession, and it can be frustrating to watch, but I actually think that it's quite smart. Whereas, you know, it was actually, well, I thought it was sad. Like, a few were booing Sri Lanka yesterday for playing possession netball, and I was like, hey, they're smart. Good on them.
They frustrated Australia yesterday, stopped them reaching the ton, and it's Wharton again, 20 on, and remarkably, Shanika Wharton has scored 19 of the 20 goals that Barbados have put on. They're going to make a change again. And this is about just putting an injection of pace and some more legs on just to try and stop Australia as we head into this final 2.5 minutes. 88-20. Dominance from Australia. Watson again back to Tippett with a little bounce in, and she sets it up. So she's there under the post. She doesn't need to be, but under the post she is, an 89 through.
And they make it look easy.
Contact goal defense.
What was impressive about that play, Caitlin Thwaites doing a roll-off, working hard under the circle, once again dragging her opponent out. It's amazing how hard she's willing to work for her teammates. Oh! Slots it through!
Learning off her teammate was Thomas.
We love to see them back themselves in. Have a crack.
Third quarter, they put 8 on. They're at 6 on with just over a minute and a half of this one. Need to be clinical off their centre pass. They found it a struggle to make it through the Diamonds defence. And again, not just the defenders taking it on for Australia. Tippett.
A great tip from Tippett. Pun intended. But can we just say as well, we look at this game now, we
can
reflect.
Stop you?
No. Oh, dear. Anyway, we don't have long. I've got to talk.
Contact.
So, you know, Barbados scored 16 against Australia in the last World Cup. So they're currently on 21. How do you measure their improvements? Well, that's how I measure it. They've already scored more than what they did at the last World Cup. It might not be a lot, but it is enough for them to keep improving.
This is a better team than you faced in 2015.
Absolutely it is. And all you need...
Oh!
I love her all on the edge of our seats as soon as she holds the ball. Oh, don't get in the way of Wharton.
Contact all defense.
She doesn't need to be this close, Wharton.
She doesn't, but she'll take it.
She's been impressive for this Barbados side. Their tournament will roll on after this one. Defeat to Australia will be put behind them, but for the Aussie Diamonds, what combinations we've seen on court, what strength we've seen off the bench, a 50th cap for Thwaites too. She has a little look up. She puts 20 seconds up to show the rest of her team what she wants from them. Expects the ball down again. They'll need to get it off. Barbados, Rockhill playing it around. Sensible netball. A good landing from Thomas. She's had her eye and she'll try and pop that through, but defensively
so
again. Who wants that one?
Intercept.
Quick hands.
Long. Down to Tippett. Can they get the last goal?
No, that one doesn't count, but still she smiles as she might. The Aussie Diamonds then giving Lisa Alexander a win. A win was expected, 91-22, perhaps not the margin of it. But what they've done is go up against the Barbados team, improved on the last World Cup and shown their dominance again. Was there ever any doubt that this Aussie Diamonds team would be firing at this World Cup? The handshakes all round. They know they've been in a contest, but it's the Diamonds that come out on top, 91-22. You've been in that huddle before, Shani Layton. How pleased will Australia be with that performance?
They'll be so pleased with that performance. They were so consistent throughout the whole game. So many changes, seamless changes. Great movement in the circle there between Thwaites racking up her 50th with Tippett. But then, you know, Courtney Bruce, you know, just coming out for those balls, as we said, coming off court too pretty much. The way that she reads the play at the moment, really leading the side. But I also love seeing the smiles on Barbados's face in that circle huddle as well.
Barbados will roll on and face Zimbabwe. What a match that will be tomorrow. Northern Ireland in their final game in this group on Thursday. As for Australia, they've got Malawi up next. A different threat than this Barbados side before they take on New Zealand to decide who tops this group. This Australia side then came back into this tournament. Some said maybe psychologically a little bit wounded from what happened on home soil at the Commonwealth Games. But they're taking the applause of the England crowd inside the centre here in Liverpool. This is about showing they can beat what's in front of them and beat them convincingly. Who stood out for you on court from that Aussie Diamonds team then, and who perhaps has changed the mind? Let's see what Lisa Alexander thinks.
Thanks very much. Lisa, we talked, didn't we, before the game about hitting those centre pass conversion rates and also your turnover targets. Did you do that?
I think we did today. I haven't checked the stats yet, but I was certainly much more pleased with how quickly we got into defence after we, turned the ball over. So that was much better today.
What was that down to?
I think just more intent from the players. We also had a bit of a plan around what we were going to do there, which I don't want to tell everyone, but that was it was just quicker and more intense. So very pleased.
Jo Weston was the official player of the match. A word on her because she had a full run out, didn't she, at wing defence. She played a little bit there in the Northern Ireland game. What did you make of her performance? She's obviously standing next to you, so she's going to listen in.
Yeah, no, we love Jo's long arms out there, that's for certain. But what I think she did very well, she was intelligent around the spaces that she was covering and getting all those loose ball gets. That's fantastic today.
And is that wing defence position, we've seen a number of players there, the position that's giving you the most headache?
No, it's not giving me any headache at all. It's actually providing great options for us, and I think we've got a player that can cover most options out there, so it's fantastic.
Well played today. Thank you very much, Lisa. Jo Weston, come and join us. Did you like what your coach had to say about you just then?
Yeah, I said there's no pressure on her to give me a lot of compliments if I'm just standing, breathing heavily beside there, is there?
We saw you come on, didn't we, in the last quarter against Northern Ireland, but you had a full run out of wing defence. It's not your preferred necessary or your first choice position, so to win a player of the match at World Cup isn't bad going, is it, Jo?
Yeah, I was just laughing with Courtney because, wing defences really don't get a whole lot of praise, and Courtney's yet to win player of the match, even though she probably got another 20 intercepts today, so I will say it's part her, part me.
Where do you prefer? Where's more natural to you? Is it goal defence or wing defence?
Probably goal defence. I've played there predominantly majority of my netball career, but I did start as a centre, so I guess I like being able to run out through the mid-court as well.
Players felt, after the Commonwealth Games defeat, the constant chopping and changing, the not really knowing the starting seven, the not having too much of an opportunity to play that starting seven was what cost them when it really mattered. How much, as a group, do you feel you've learnt from that, or do you feel that you won't make that same mistake again?
I don't know, it's probably not really me to say. I guess they're more potentially coaching decisions, but for me and April, who predominantly play the same role out at goal defence, we really like doing that tag team role. It gives us the option to have fresh legs if we need it on a specific goal attack. But yeah, I guess being able to play full quarters is also important.
Well played today. Building up to the big one, aren't we, against New Zealand in a few days' time, so we'll see you then. Thanks, Jo.
Thank you.
Well, 4 years ago when you met Australia, the score was 83-16, 91-22 today. It doesn't necessarily suggest a big improvement, but is there amongst your side?
We tried really hard. We started pretty good, but the second quarter was a big letdown, and then the girls were able to pick back up in the third and fourth quarter. But kudos to Australia, they played really well.
And how does this team go on and take the next step so they can give these big sides a game? Is it just having more exposure and opportunity to teams like Australia on a regular basis?
Yes, it is. We need that exposure. We need the coaching, education, and the chance to play teams at this level, because in our region, our netball is not this fast. And when the girls come to this level, they have to adjust to the speed and the fitness level, the strength. So it's tough, but I'm sure that we're going to gain from this exposure.
Well played today. 2 more games. We look forward to watching you. Thank you.
Shani Layton was saying that performance from Barbados, a big improvement on 2015 Australia. 91 Barbados, 22 shooting percentage for Australia. Again, seeing Caitlin Thwaites come on, shooting 100%, 20 from 20 for her. The penalties high for both, and it's Australia that roll on to their next 2 games. Malawi next, and then New Zealand. For Barbados, they face Zimbabwe on Tuesday before Northern Ireland on Thursday.
Confirmation of that scoreline, 91-22. So many players got an opportunity to get onto the court today. Caitlin Bassett was on form. And Wharton, we'd love to see her playing in some league around the world at the age of 40. But the spoils go to the Aussie Diamonds, and another 2 points for them. Pretty straightforward for them.